The deja vu dating play is invisible and it's a killer. It has to be attended to at an energetic level rather than fought at the level of mind. Your energy field. If you know someone who is in a deja vu dating cycle, and this can go on for years, and I pray this isn't you, but if it is, you weren't aware how or when it first got started, but you can feel the fish hook that is lodged in your heart, your throat, and your gut. As your chakras have become bound and damaged, eventually a spark within you catches your attention for a few seconds, and then you remember, it wasn't always like this. You weren't always like this. So if you are deja vu dating now and would like to learn how to fix what's often called a broken picker, well, here's the link to register for the webinar. Okay, breathe. Let's turn our attention away from them. Darth Vapor and the Sharks. No, it's not a New Jersey boy band. Them. The manipulative losers who can't get their lives in order by themselves. These sharks wear well-crafted masks of being super smart, passionate, sexy. They come off as interesting vagabonds or explorers with no need to settle into a conventional life. Yet these socially charismatic, powerful, and often wealthy sharks aren't interested in or can't manage the drudgery of day-to-day, year-to-year life. So they seek and find empaths and overgivers who are eager to please, to support them, bask in borrowed status and perceived power, while being completely willing to take on the boring tasks, i.e. running an organized and emotionally intelligent home, that most sharks are keen to avoid. The targeted empaths are the ones who fail to pull themselves back up from being romantic roadkill. The girl who was raped or abused on a first date. The boy who was molested by a family member and who now wears a "Please Kick Me Invisible" t-shirt. These deeply compassionate, feeling, empathic individuals don't understand being energetically tagged, because while they could feel these difficult emotions, they can't see and are unfamiliar with their own energy fields and biospiritual anatomy. These individuals may become depressed and even suicidal because their love relationship is confusing and painful, despite the targeted empath being certain that he, she, they have bent over backwards to do everything right. The targeted empath who has been trained in early life to overgive and to help one or both parents manage their complex, unconscious emotional lives is 100% sure that how life is unfolding for them in this relationship is unjust, unfair, and unstable unless they hold it all together, and behind closed doors it can be violent and scary. My white kid gloves are off. Why? Because I know that you know someone who should be attending my program on breaking the habit of deja vu dating. And this is an educational event so that you, he, she, they can learn the life skills of managing your own energy field. You may not be one of them, or you may take comfort in believing that you have never gone swimming with a shark. So jumping into my webinar about this stealth situation that is active in your life Well, you're hoping and trusting that your love will find the way because you keep giving so much of your love away, contrary to what you feel about being authentically you in a loving and trusting connection. Now, I'm confining this educational event and upcoming program before you make the mistake of saying yes to more than one date with a shark. I've been there. I got out. It took decades. Some of the best years of my life have been absolutely unlived. The most you have to lose is 90 minutes maximum of your time, or in the near future the memory of who you really are, or once were, or might have been. So what are the hows? Well, I'll go through my list. This is some of what we cover in the program. First of all, how do you recognize a shark? Then how do you say no to a shark, no matter what they pretend to offer? Because none of it has anything to do with true and healthy love, and very little of it has anything to do with you, the individual. You're just a type for them. How do you use energy to deal with energetic tagging and hooking that keeps you coming back for more because of the sexual energy? And you just don't know if you ever had any willpower. If you did, you have no idea where it is now. How to reverse and release the energy flows coming at you from a shark, he, she, or they, because this deja vu dating energy dynamic has nothing to do with gender. However, you may become so confused by your lover that you believe it does. And it's that your gender that is all wrong. This is what the problem is. How to break the chains of shame and isolation for being a failure at love. Deep down, you're stuck with a knowing that is so painful that your love wasn't, isn't, and never will be good enough to save or change your identified beloved. Why? This person is not invested in being different or healing their predatory hungry for whole energies, other people that he, she, or they need to get access to. It takes massive inner strength to climb out of a shark tank, because if you stay in that water too long, it feels like an endless ocean of loss that you drown in, not just once, but again and again and again. Tip: think of this masterclass event as the opportunity to get your bio-spiritual anatomy first unhooked so that you can get out of the shark tank. Tip: think of it as a very specific meeting in time and space, a little bit like Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, I had to eat my shark tank and the sharks in it one bite at a time. Fortunately, I like sushi. And I chose to start with the topic of deja vu dating. Just this one bite. Trust me that if you come into this with your heart open and eyes open and ready to learn, the rest of the sharks in your life will get handled one by one. So here's a question. How do you reverse the tide of having your power stolen from you because you are actually capable of empathy and love? Today, I had a short message exchange with someone who is lost in the shadows in a country far away. He is lost. He's unemployed, and he has not yet recovered from the profound, lingering, nervous system shattering that starts off so innocently. We keep in touch. This is about so much more than narcissistic abuse. Tip: everything is energy. Everything begins with energy, ends with energy. All energy is conscious, all energy is information, and all energy functions in relationship. And energy, consciousness, information in relationship is what we human beings get to experience as awareness. Now let me ask you this. In a dating to mating journey, who has the power to make the choice that the act of rape or the ongoing torment of gaslighting someone you genuinely love or wanted to, no big deal? I've been through this meat grinder. The dynamic is sheer mental and emotional torture because you lose your ability to trust yourself. The damage is invisible until you start showing and wearing bruises. So who's to know? The shame is unrelenting, but if you're the one swimming with the sharks, you can't account for having a sense of shame because you do everything right. So you really can't figure it out from the level of looking around at your life and knowing that you're smart, that you're capable, that you're empathic, that you're kind, that you're compassionate, and that you can get through the drudgery of life and actually enjoy it most of the time, because it is part of taking care of love. It's about energy. Energy can't be figured out. The mind is not going to help you here. You have to become open to feeling all of your feelings, the body, and the complex energy, the biospiritual anatomy that makes your body and you solid and real. This relationship plague is invisible, and I will say this relationship plague may be invisible, and there's no other way to attend to it and win back your own power unless you do this at the level of energy, your energy field, your chakras, your nightmares, your panic attacks, your withdrawal and chosen isolation from everything and most other human beings. So, in addition to being an empath and an overgiver, maybe you're also an introvert. Now, if you know someone who is in this situation, and I pray it isn't you, but if it is, you may remember the moment when the Twilight Zone strangeness got started. But you can't yet feel the fishhook that is lodged in your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and your third chakra, until a spark within you catches your attention, and for a few seconds you remember that you're more than your body. You remember that you're more than your feelings. You remember that you're more than your thoughts. So if you are deja vu dating now, but you don't know how to fix your broken picker, well, I think you might want to register for my program. But let's turn our attention away from them. Them, the confused losers who can't keep their lives in order without a lot of help. They come off as basically nice people. They don't come off as kind, though, or necessarily caring. They can be sarcastic. They can be cunning, and they can be intentionally incredibly cruel. But you'll find that out the hard way. They give the impression that they like being helpful. They like making a difference in life. But they don't know how to manage the basics of getting through day-to-day life, let alone year to year without you. You are the ones, empaths, overgivers, who eventually fail to pull yourselves back up from being a romantic roadkill. Maybe you're the girl who was raped or abused on a first date. Maybe you're the boy who was molested by a family member or a coach or a priest, and you now wear a "please hurt me" invisible shirt, and you don't understand that you were first energetically tagged. Some of you eventually become suicidal because the confusion is so painful when you know you have done nothing wrong to deserve how life is unfolding for you. So yes, my kid gloves are off. So yes, my kid gloves are off. We have to talk about this frankly, because today, this problem has exploded into something much darker. And maybe you know someone who should be attending my masterclass program on Deja Vu dating and what becomes the dark flower dynamic when you're overwhelmed by Darth Vader and the sharks. Come to the masterclass. I will and can teach you how to focus on you. And the energy that you generate is yours. If you want to share it, that's a choice. But no one has the right to steal it from you by hooking into your chakras, binding them, and technically keeping you like a dog on a leash. No one has the right to do this with you, to you, or about you. This is spiritual law. But again, these dynamics can't be fought at the tug of war level of trying to pull and yank your power back from someone who has you chakra bound. Again, this is more about, once again, this is about so much more than narcissistic abuse or triggers or being gaslighted. This is about energy. It's about the energy of who you are. It's about the energy of how you get to live your life in loving abundance.